To get to the McGraw Hill Science resources, you need to log in to your Clever site. Once you're logged into Clever, look for the icon McGraw Hill. Once you're logged in to your ConnectEd account, go ahead and click on the Massachusetts iScience Teacher Edition for the grade that you're teaching. Once inside the Teacher Edition, you're going to look up here in the menu, select Menu, Assessment, and then the first icon for Massachusetts Science e-assessment, you're going to click on that and we'll take you into e-assessment. Once in e-assessment, you have an option to look at question sets and you have the option to look at tests, or you can create a new test or create a new question set. We're going to create a new test, and when we create a new test, we're going to need to give the test a name. You can choose the folder where it would be saved, and you have three options down here. Build a test with questions randomly selected by question type from existing question sets and/or tests. We're going to choose that one first. Hit Next. We're going to look at all question sets. When you click on the plus, it opens up another drop-down menu. I want to take a look at what's in Massachusetts Grade 8, and then scrolling down, the chapter I'm teaching now is Chapter 14, Motion, Forces, and Newton's Laws. If I click this box, I get the entire chapter, or I can open up the drop-down and choose just a lesson within the chapter. Hit Next. Want to create this test in both English and Spanish, and hit Next. Now I have the option to randomly select question types, or I have a little bit of choice here. I want to be able to choose the type of question in my test. So I'm going to look down and see that I have 10 multiple choice questions. I want to look at all 10. I have 4 completion questions. I'd like to look at all 4 of the completions. And then I have 3 short answers. Let's take a look at those. And I'm going to then hit Next. This allows me to look at all of these questions, and it's easier to delete them in the test once I've created it. So I hit Finish. Now I get to see all of the questions. I might take a look at this first question and say, you know what, that one's a little bit too challenging for my students, or maybe we just haven't gotten there yet. So I can click on Edit, and I'm able to delete that question. The other option I have, once the test is created, is to edit the question. Selecting Edit the question gives me choice now to be able to change the number of answer choices, work with the number of columns, and format the test a little bit differently. 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns actually puts all your answers in one row. I can scramble the answers. Up here I have the ability to insert images, equations, graphs, links to websites or videos, something like that. You can also edit the format table, and you have some tools here. So we're going to go ahead and select OK. And now that question has been edited in my test. Once I'm here in the test, I can scroll through and take a look at all of my questions and decide maybe this question should come a little bit later in the test. So I can drag it down and move it to another location. Obviously, when the test is assigned to students or it is printed, the answers do not go out with the test. Make sure you take a look up here. Do you want to view 10 questions? Do you want to take a look at all of your questions? You also have the ability to export this test as a Word document. You can also print it to PDF and work on the page setup for how your test is going to appear. Once you've made all your edits, come up here to the upper right test generator. You're going to go ahead and then assign that test. So now I'm here in the classes and assignments. Drag a class in this area to begin. So I would drag my class in and then work on the assignment details. Going back to the test generator mode, let's take a look at creating a new test and what would happen if I choose option B, build a test with questions randomly selected by specific question information such as the state standards. I'm going to call my test practice 2. going to choose option B this time and hit next. I want to look at all the question sets. Once again, Massachusetts grade 8, scrolling down to my unit, and next. Let's create this in both English and Spanish. Next. Now, here's where I get to choose the question type and maybe the source. I want to work with state standards at this point, and I want to look at not all question types, but I want to look at the essays or maybe the subjective short answer. So let's see what's in there for essay to align with these standards. There's one essay to choose from, so let's go ahead and choose that one and see what it looks like. Update, update, and next. Finish. Now I'm able to see the question that's aligned to my standard. Here's the essay question, here's suggested answer, and a scoring rubric for that essay. So once again, if I like that question, I can keep it. I can also add a new question, choosing the type of question that I want to look for. Maybe in this case, I just want to add a multiple choice question to it. And now I'm able to create my own multiple choice question. Okay, we'll close out of that. And the third way to create a new test is to give it a title and build an empty test. When we build an empty test, and I go to question sets, now I'm able to open up and see the exact questions, the specific questions that I might want to drag onto my test. If you hover over the question, it will give you the type of question and the details about it. So let's say I want to use that question. I'm going through, I like this question, it's a subjective short answer. I drag these right into my test. And then once that's done, then you have the ability, as previously mentioned, to go ahead and edit that question, delete it, duplicate the question, view all questions, and then go ahead and assign.